Hey, welcome back for another beer tasting. I'm Kevin with CrafTeeBeer, and for today's beer tasting, we've got a Grisette. Today's Grisette is the Prince and Pauper. It's a 3.9% ABV Grisette. It's a collaboration brew between Omnipollo Brewing in Sweden and Mikkeller, who's in San Diego and Denmark. The Grisette style is a Belgian style of beer. It's similar to a Saison, so it's the cousin to a Saison. It's a low ABV wheat beer. It's brewed with malted wheat, unlike a lot of Belgian styles, which are normally brewed with unmalted wheat. So this could end up being somewhat sweeter. Wheat beers usually have a fuller body, good head retention. Sometimes they're hazy because there's more proteins in wheat, but we'll see. So let's head on over to the website and see what the brewer says about this beer. The Prince and Pauper. In this long-coming collaboration between Mikkeller and Omnipollo, all-star brewer Keith Shore and his kindred brewer Carl Grandin came together to forge a classic. A modern Grisette for the future for all-day drinking. A pale, hoppy blonde, crisp and clear, not hazy at all, super clean and dry ale brewed with spelt, mosaic, Nelson Sauvin, dry, hopped. Brewer Keith Shore. So not hazy at all, unlike most wheat beers. And mosaic hops and Nelson Sauvin hops both can be melony, stone fruit. The Nelson, I think, can tend to end up on a spicy, peppery side. Again, it all depends on how you use them in the brewing process. It goes on to say, amazing citrusy and grassy aroma, 3.9%, but still with impressive body, brewer Carl Grandin. Prince and Pauper is a true deserted island beer. Crushed cold, it showcased bursting hops and complex yeast while striking the perfect balance of drinkability. It is in fact probably the best beer in the world. P&P comes wrapped in a 50 cl can adorned by images only imagined and lovingly produced by the Scandinavian design duo Mikkeller, Borgiosi and Henok Fenty. Henok is obviously a Leonardo da Vinci, artist Mikkeller Borgio says, artist Henok Fenty. There's obviously some tomfoolery going on here in the description because the brewers described in here are the artists and the artists described in here are the brewers. So Keith Shore, who's described here as one of the brewers, is actually the artist who made a lot of the Mikkeller artwork famous for that very distinct line artwork going. So,
hey, what's up, guys? I'm Keith Shore. I'm the art director at Mikkeller.
There's some role swapping going on in the description here.
My name is Carl Grandin, and I'm an artist from Stockholm, Sweden.
So it's a Grisette, Belgian beer, wheat beer. This sounds like it's going to be a little bit hoppy. They claim it's not hazy for a wheat beer. A couple different hops. I say we get the Prince and the Pauper in a glass and we check this thing out. Really pale yellow. It looks like pineapple juice would be how I describe it, but it's fairly clear for a wheat beer as they described it. It's not hazy. It's got a couple fingers of white head. It looks like it's going to stick around. Wheat beers have, usually keep the head on them for a while because of the protein in wheat, I guess. Yeah, it's a really, really light pale yellow. A little bit of carbonation going on, not too much. Some small bubbles in there. The head's nice and creamy on the top, like a lot of beers with good heads. So just a pale gold, pretty clear looking beer. Damn good looking beer.
Who saw that coming? I did.
All right, the Prince and the Pauper. Let's see what the nose is on this thing. I get pineapple juice. Not sure if I got that initially, and that's why I subconsciously thought it looked like pineapple juice in the glass, but it's a little bit spicy pineapple juice. Yeah, some kind of tropical juices. It smells really good. This is one of those beers that has a nose or an aroma to it that when you smell it, it makes you really want to drink it. So I'm going to stop talking and give it a try. Cheers. Wow, that's really good, really good. It's tropical juices, pineapple. Yeah, it's very, very, I think pineapple's the best description of it, but it's like a tropical juice with a very strong, sweet flavor. And then it's got a little touch of spice in there. Yeah, so maybe it's like a little bit of grapefruit juice, maybe a little bit of lemon, but I get a good dose of pineapple. And it's got a little bit of spice. It's definitely got some sweetness, which is probably maybe from the malt, a malty sweetness. And it's got a touch of spice around the edges, just a little bit. Yeah, and there's a little bitter, a little hop, a little tiny bit of hop bitter that's on the back end that leaves that little bit of drying bitter on the back end. This is really well done. This has got a great story. It's that really succulent tropical juice sweetness up front. There's a little bit of spice that shows up, and then a little touch of hop bitter on the back end.
Do you see how excited he is?
Wow, this is really good. And so, as I said, the Mikkeller artwork is usually always that kind of line art. So this can is just white with the line art, and then it's got just what's like hand lettering on the back that has the ingredients in a few different languages, I guess. The Mikkeller art is always very simple but very distinctive. You can spot a Mikkeller artwork, a Mikkeller can a mile away. So this is a collaboration, so I'm not sure, if both of the artists or brewers, depending upon, which description you're reading, work together on it. But yeah, very good. This is a really good beer, 3.9%. Drink them all day long. And they said it's their desert island beer, so I guess if you were stuck on a desert island and can only have one beer there the whole time, this should be it. But if you were on a desert island and can only have one beer from then on, what beer would it be? Let me know in the comments. It's a tough decision, I know. Wow, this is really good. All right, let's go see what people are saying about this online. Prince and Pauper from Omnipollo. It's got a 3.94 out of 5 rating. Very good on Beer Advocate. Only 21 ratings, but they call it a Belgian Saison. That makes sense, the style. Grisette, I guess, is very similar to a Saison, Belgian style. So that's 3.9% ABV, limited, only brewed once. All right, there you go. Let's go see what it looks like on Untapped. Over on Untapped, it's got a 3.42 cap rating, 9,187 ratings. A dry hopped Grisette. Mikkeller collaboration with Omnipollo. So, reasonable ratings. I think, I'm digging this more than the ratings on these two sites were. I'm really digging this. I'm not sure if it's just my thing or not, but 3.42. I'm going to be rating this higher than that. Well, all right, I'm going to sip on this a bit, and I guess I'll check it in, and I'll be right back.
And so we wait.
Prince and Pauper checked in. I gave it a rating of 4.25 caps on Untapped. I'm really digging this one. Gave it the description of sweet tropical juice, lemon spice, dab of hoppy bitter on the finish, crisp, clean, crushable wheat beer with a lighter body. Bravo. I'm liking on this one, so I rated it accordingly. Gave it the flavor profile of light, clean, hoppy, pineapple, and spicy. If you want to find me on Untapped, I'm CrafTeeBeer. You can be the first one to toast this check-in. Come on, challenge you. All right, another one checked in. Not sure if it's the style that I like about this, or maybe these brewers just know how to brew a good beer. So a Grisette style, similar to a Belgian Saison. So a Saison was common or was popular with the seasonal farmers, seasonal workers, which, Saison is season. They say that the Grisette style was popular with the miners, and so gris meaning gray. There's a lot of conflicting stories or theories on how the name came about. So Gris being gray, some people say that it might have been because the way they brewed it back then, the beer was really dark, so it was gray. It was a gray-looking beer. Some people say that the women who were servers in the taverns or pubs or whatever where the miners were drinking always wore this type of gray dress, so it could be named after the dress. And other people theorize that the miners worked in stone quarries, so by the end of the day they were covered in gray dust, and maybe that's where the name came about. Who knows?
It's all made up fiction.
But a Belgian style Grisette. Prince and Pauper collaboration between Omnipollo and Mikkeller. I've had a bunch of Mikkeller stuff. Their stuff's always great, and I have easy access to it. It's probably more widely distributed than the Omnipollo. That brewery I'm not as familiar with. Omnipollo was started in 2017. Mikkeller was started in 2006. All right, so you get it. You get the idea. I really like this one. So I guess that wraps up another beer tasting. If you're interested in reading more about beer flavors, a really interesting book, Randy Mosher's Tasting Beer. It's pretty fascinating. Talks about kind of the brewing process, but mostly components of beers, where the flavors come from, how you taste the flavors.
No, it's really about the journey that you go on trying to be a great taster.
The way flavors change. Talks about all different styles of beer. Really interesting read. If you're interested, I'll put a link to it in the description below. I'll put social media links in the description below. Subscribe, do all that nonsense. Leave me comments if you've had this or you had anything else from Mikkeller or Omnipollo. I think that wraps it up. All right, I'm Kevin with CrafTeeBeer. Until the next time, cheers.